So Trans Day of Remembrance is coming up, and this is a really important day because it acknowledges and remembers all of the people who have died as a result of transphobia. Transphobia is a really big issue, and all across the world, in particular, in Scotland as well. And a lot of these deaths, sometimes they're caused by violence, and sometimes it's suicides. But either way, it's really important for us to remember and acknowledge these deaths and be aware of the fact that trans people have got a significantly higher chance of dying for these reasons. One report, I believe, showed that in America, the life expectancy for a trans woman was about 34, which really goes to show just the huge numbers who just don't make it due to the structural inequalities that come with being trans. Another really big issue at the moment, and one that is really huge in Scotland, is a lack of access to healthcare for trans people, and as I'm sure you can imagine, this causes even more illness and death. Trans people have to wait a huge amount of time for their essential healthcare. At the moment in Glasgow, for instance, the Sandyford Gender Identity Clinic has a waiting list of almost 3 years, and not everyone can wait that long, unfortunately. There are other barriers as well due to the lack of access to healthcare, where people don't necessarily feel as comfortable accessing just general healthcare, going to their GP, because of the barriers that trans people face. And a lot of people who are trans, who have got mental health conditions, feel a lot less able to actually go to their GP and get the help that they need, because it could restrict their access to their essential gender-affirming healthcare in the future. So all of these things are a really huge issue right now for trans people, and it's really worrying and dangerous to see this sort of thing happening in Scotland. And Trans Day of Remembrance is really important to acknowledge the people who have lost their lives, and to remember the importance of keeping the fight up to further trans rights and ensure that the country and the world is safer for us in the future.